Hello everyone, in today's math challenge, we will look at a question about tossing a coin. In our real life, it is quite common to toss a coin to determine the outcome of a 50-50 event. For example, when you watch the football matches, you always see the referees tossing a coin to ask the teams to pick up a side or choose to kick off the ball first. Most people believe it is truly 50% probability to see the head up and another 50% probability to see the tail up when you toss a coin. However, in the history, one person didn't believe it. It was an English statistician called Carl Pearson. More than 100 years ago, he tried to use experimentation to prove it is 50% probability to see the head up. And then he just heroically tossed a coin 24,000 times and recorded 12,012 heads up, giving a proportion of 0.005. He even recorded the outcomes of his experiments in this diagram, and here x-axis is the number of tossing a coin, and the y-axis is the accumulated probability to see the heads up. From here you can see, in the first attempt, he must have seen the head up, and then the following attempts he saw more tails up, and then more heads up, and then it is just a bounce up and down a little bit. However, with the increase of the number of tossing a coin, you will see the overall probability to see the heads up is approaching to 0.5. And it is possible for us to imagine if he had tossed a coin 24 million times, and this overall proportion must be even closer to 0.5. Anyway, nowadays, everyone has agreed it is truly 50% and 50% to see a head up and tail up when you toss a coin. However, there is a prerequisite for this. That means this coin must have an absolutely uniform distribution of its weight. Otherwise, it won't stand. For example, if the tail side is slightly heavier, you will see it is more likely for the tail side to face down when you toss it, and then you will have a higher probability to see the heads up. And actually, I'm having such a problem. I have got a coin which is slightly deformed, which means if you toss it, the probability to see the head up or the tail up is not even. For example, the tail side is slightly heavier, and it is 55% probability to see the head up, but only 45% probability to see the tail up. So here is the question. Just under this situation, do you think this coin will be completely useless, or can we still use this coin to determine the outcome for a 50-50 event? You can pause this video and spend as much time as you need to think about it, and then we come back for the answer. Okay, let's have a look at the answer together. Firstly, we have to agree, if you toss this coin once, it is absolutely impossible to determine the outcome of this 50-50 event. However, if we toss the coin twice, let's see what is going on. Firstly, the probability to have a head up followed by a tail up can be calculated by using the product law of the probability, which is equal to 55% multiplies 45%. Similarly, the probability to have a tail up followed by a head up can also be calculated by 45% multiplies 55%. So that means these two probabilities are equal because both of them are equal to the product of 55% and 45%. So that means we can use these two outcomes to determine the outcome. For example, you and your friend just want to use tossing a coin method to determine who is the winner. And then you can agree in advance. You just toss the coin twice. If it is a head up followed by a tail up, you will be the winner. Or if it's tail up followed by a head up, your friend will be the winner. And if you toss it twice and see two heads up or two tails up, just forget about it and toss it for another 2 times until the winner is determined. Hopefully this question helps you understand better the theory of the probability and how we can make best use of it. And here we can solve this seemingly impossible task. Thank you very much.